This is a practice for your lower back, and we'll hit some other parts of the back as well, the muscles, the spine, things like that. So it would be helpful to have a strap for this practice, but that's about it. And we'll begin lying down on the mat in constructive rest. Feet on the floor, knees bent, arms comfortably at your sides. Taking a couple of slow, deep breaths. Notice any tension or tightness in your low back. And then also observing the middle back and the upper back as well. You might readjust your shoulder blades, readjust your hips, and have another breath or two here. And start to rock your pelvis. We're going to roll the pelvis back. Low back presses down towards the mat. And then rolling your pelvis forward. Low back arches away from the mat. And going back and forth in this way. You might exhale as you roll back. Press the low back down. Inhale as you roll forward and arch away. It may not be a very big movement, but we're getting some lubrication into the low back, the hips, and just starting to wake up this area of the body. And coming back to center. Knees come in towards the belly, hold on to the kneecaps. As you exhale, draw the thighs a little closer to the belly. As you inhale, thighs go away from the belly, elbows straighten. We're repeating this a few times, exhaling as you hug in, inhaling as you release. Returning your feet to the floor, a moment of observation, noticing any effects of that movement, that squeeze, any openings in the body. And then we'll take our strap, loop it around the right foot, and extending your right leg up towards the ceiling. There's a press up through the foot, there's a pull down through the hands. And the shoulders and neck and jaw are all staying soft. So if you need to give a little more strap, let a little more strap out, and that'll relieve some of the tension that you might be feeling. For right now, we're going to keep the left foot on the floor, left knee bent, and have a few breaths here. Supta Padangusthasana is the Sanskrit name of this word, Sanskrit word for this pose. And in English, we call it reclining big toe pose. Another breath or two here. Take both of the straps into your right hand. Left knee goes out to the side, right leg goes out to the right, and that left leg is a bit of a counterbalance. Left arm could stretch out to the side. If you like, you could prop up your right leg on a pillow, a block, piece of furniture, whatever may be available to you, and still reaching out through your heel. A few breaths here. Right leg comes back to center, and we're going to pass the straps to the left hand. We're going to take the right leg over to the left, and if you find a spot on the way there that you want to stay in, please feel free to stay. Otherwise, you can roll as much onto your left side as you like, and again, you might prop the right leg up on a blanket, a block, a piece of furniture, And the right arm can stretch out to the right, head can roll to the right, and we'll have a few breaths here. Slowly coming back to center, a strap in each hand, left foot back to the floor. Pause here where we began this adventure and have another breath. Right foot comes down to the floor. Pause a moment, noticing any differences between right and left sides. Relax your hands, maybe wiggle the fingers. And then we'll take the left foot into the strap, extend left leg, press up through the foot, draw down through your arms, relax your shoulders, your jaw, and your neck. Both straps into the left hand, left leg opening to the left, and the right leg rolling out to the right. Right arm can stretch out to this side. Left leg could get propped up on something if that's helpful, and we'll have a few breaths here. Left leg coming back to center, right foot back to the floor. Straps to the right hand, left arm out to the left. Start to take the left leg across the body and over to the right side. And if you find somewhere you want to stop, you can stop, roll onto your right side. If the left arm isn't comfortable, you can drape it across your torso and maybe roll the head to the left. A few breaths here. Slowly coming back to center, right foot back to the floor, strap in each hand, back to where we began for another breath or two. And now taking both feet into the strap. We'll bend the knees for the moment. Hands can come to the insides of the legs. Both of the straps into the right hand. Knees over to the right, and then extending your legs off to the right to whatever extent they will go. If they don't come to the floor, you could prop up on an elbow, you could use a block, and we'll take the left arm out to the left, head can roll to the left, and we'll have a couple of breaths here. Doing the best you can to straighten the legs and use your support of the strap and maybe the elbow. Bend your knees, roll back to center, pause a moment, straps into the left hand. Right arm out to the right, legs roll to the left, and then legs extending off to the side as best as we're able to. Head can roll back to the right. And feeling free to use lots of props. You might be able to get something underneath your right shoulder, underneath your legs. Lots of different ways to modify and change these poses to work for your body. Bend your knees, roll back to center, strap off to the side, knees and feet close together, and a hug of thighs into belly. A few breaths here. Perhaps feeling more stretch in the hips than in the back, but that'll be helpful to help the tension in the low back. Another breath or two here. Feet to the floor, right ankle to the left knee, right hand presses into the right thigh, just to give a little space there in your right hip. You can stay here or bring the left knee in, perhaps holding on to the back of the left thigh. And maybe the right elbow continues that press into the right thigh. A few breaths here. Feet back to the floor, pause a moment, give a few windshield wipers, rocking knees from one side to the other a few times. Left ankle to the right knee, left hand presses left thigh away, couple of breaths. Right knee comes in towards the belly. If you choose, hold on to the back of the right thigh. Left elbow might continue that press into the thigh, and we'll have some breaths here. Feet return to the floor. Pause a moment and then rock your knees from side to side. Rolling over to your side, we'll come up and into tabletop pose. Cushion the knees as needed. Hands a little forward of the shoulders, and we're going to move between child's pose, cow pose, and downward facing dog. With an exhale, sliding back towards child's. Inhale, coming forward and arching your spine into cow. Exhale, tucking your toes, lifting your knees, downward facing dog. Inhaling in down dog. Exhaling, knees to the floor, hips back towards the heels, towards child's. Inhale, forward and arch the spine. Exhale, tucking toes, rounding a little as we press back into downward facing dog. Inhaling in down dog. Exhaling, knees to the floor, hips to the heels, child's. A few more times. Inhaling, forward to cow. Exhaling, tucking toes, rounding as we come into downward facing dog. Inhaling here. Exhaling, knees to the mat, hips towards the heels. And again, inhale, coming forward and arching your spine. Exhale, rounding the back, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale and down dog. Exhale, knees to the mat, hips to the heels. One more time. Inhaling, coming forward to cow, arch the spine. Exhaling, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Inhaling in the pose. And exhaling, knees to the mat, hips to the heels. And we'll stay here in child's pose. If child's pose doesn't work, slide yourself out onto your belly, rest there. And there's lots of different versions and variations of child's pose, so feel free to find one that works best for you. A few steady breaths wherever you are. And sliding out onto your belly, hands underneath the shoulders, elbows hugging in towards the sides of the torso, and feet relatively close together, legs relatively close together. And we'll inhale, lifting into cobra. Don't think you have to go very high. Exhale, coming down. Maybe we go higher as we repeat this, but maybe we stay right within a reasonable range, a low cobra. Exhaling to come down. Inhaling, press down into the hands and pull back, lift the head and chest. Exhaling and coming down. Tops of the feet press into the floor while we do this, and legs roll towards the baby toe side of the foot. A few more repetitions. And one more time coming up. And exhale, lower down. Make a pillow if you like, or rest your face on the mat. Rock your hips from side to side. Loosen all parts of the back. Arms reach out in front of us, forehead or chin to the mat. We're going to lift alternate arm and leg. And so next time you inhale, left leg and right arm come up, the other limbs press down. Exhale, down to the floor. Inhale, left arm and right leg reach long and lift. Exhale, come down. Inhale, right arm and left leg. Exhale, come down. Inhale, left arm and right leg. Exhale, coming down. Continuing, inhaling right arm and left leg. Exhaling to come down. Left arm and right leg. And coming down. One more time each side. Right arm and left leg lift. Exhale, come down. And then left arm and right leg lift. Exhale and come down. Hands slide under the head, hips rock from side to side, and we take a moment here. And from here, rolling onto your back, hug your knees in towards your belly, and rocking from side to side, massaging the low back. Either staying here, knees hug in, or taking happy baby, any version of happy baby, a squat kind of a shape, very good for the back, especially low back. So anytime you can make the shape of a squat, whether it's a happy baby, child's pose. You could lie on your back, take your feet on the wall in a squat shape. You could be upright in a squat shape, or sitting on something in a squat shape. All very good for the health of your low back. A few breaths here. Hug the legs in if they're not already. And then you can roll to your side or rock forward to come up. And that's your low back practice. From here you might go on to one of the seated practices. You could go on to a Shavasana, or you could go on to your day. Thanks for joining me.